Hello there, Brick Fanatics. So, the LEGO Group has provided something of a response to the ongoing collectible minifigure box situation. Be warned, you might not like it. The situation, in case you are not aware, is that the LEGO Group has moved away from foil bags for its collectible minifigures and has instead started selling them in these little cardboard boxes, which is good for the environment and for sustainability, but not great for consumers because people really want to know what's inside the box rather than just buying something blind. And traditionally, the way that we would find this out is by feeling the foil bags to figure out which pieces were inside, but you can't feel a box. It doesn't work in the same way. This has regrettably but somewhat inevitably led to people tearing open the boxes inside stores, thereby finding exactly which minifigure they want personally, but then ruining all of the stock for everyone else. It's a lose-lose situation. The LEGO Group is losing out on stock, stores are losing out on stock, consumers are finding it very difficult to find the minifigure that they want. Now, last week the LEGO Group held its annual Recognise LEGO Fan Media Days event, where various different LEGO fan media from around the world flew to the LEGO Group's headquarters in order to be shown off a variety of different presentations about things that the LEGO Group are doing in the near future. And the first thing on the agenda was a 30-minute presentation / question and answer session from the sustainability team and the packaging team behind these little cardboard boxes. Now imagine for a second what it must be like to be the designer of a packaging that has proven somewhat controversial, and then to be placed in a room for 30 minutes with some of the most dedicated and passionate LEGO fans that you can possibly imagine. It was uncomfortable, to say the least. Oh, I felt so bad for them because this is something that they have worked really hard on for an exceptionally long period of time. This is something that was supposed to be an easy marketing win for the LEGO Group. We've moved to sustainable packaging. Now we're more environmentally friendly. And instead they just got comment after comment after comment, feedback after feedback, which was, you've ruined these collectible minifigures. You've made everybody's lives more difficult. You've destroyed an important part of the LEGO fan community. It was horrible to watch, and I genuinely feel bad for them. Perhaps that was the point. Perhaps it was simply putting a human face behind a decision that feels like a very corporate choice. And if that's the case, it absolutely worked, because genuinely these people do not deserve the level of vitriol that they are receiving. There were some interesting things that came out of this presentation. Of course, they did the usual thing that you would expect. They showed off a lot of the paper bag options that they had trialed and showed how they kind of scrunch up like wrapping paper, where afterwards you can always tell that there are creases and lines where people have been feeling at them. They said that on average these bags would last for about 5 feels before they were just disintegrating. They were just falling apart. And so they realized that they had to move to a sturdier solution. And they talked about how they made sure that these boxes weren't too easy to open while still being openable for a child. It's the kind of thing that you would expect, and ultimately there was nothing particularly new that came out of that. What was perhaps more interesting was how they were talking about the product itself, because of course they were getting a lot of people asking, well, why didn't you make it easy to tell which minifigure is inside which box? And the answer that they kept coming back with was they needed to maintain the surprise. It's worth pointing out, by the way, that the people who were giving this presentation and who were receiving all of this somewhat negative feedback were not the people who made the decision over how these products are sold. They were just the packaging experts. They were the ones who designed the boxes. And so they had a mandate, which was you've got to maintain the surprise of the product while also making the packaging more environmentally friendly. And the idea of allowing for a feel guide or allowing for minifigure collectors to somehow figure out what is inside the bags or the boxes was low on the priority list, and ultimately was a feature that they felt they had to scrap because it was more important for them to maintain the surprise. That was their mandate from higher up. That idea of maintaining the surprise is definitely apparent in the finished packaging, and was also a large factor in a lot of the complaints or feedback that was being given in this meeting, because genuinely I don't think people have an issue with boxes. The issue is more with the idea that we can't know before we purchase what we're getting. And so, unfortunately, delivering a lot of this feedback to the packaging people, the message was going to the wrong people, where it's an issue not with the packaging itself, but with the product. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with the cardboard box. Lego has been sold in cardboard boxes for years and years and years and years and years. The problem comes when you don't know what's inside the cardboard box. All right, shall we crack this thing open and have a look and see what's inside? I've not actually opened one of these yet. I could only find this in Denmark itself. Who have we got? Who have we got? It's a surprise. I don't know. Oh, I had a feeling it was that one. It's Echo, the most boring one. No, not necessarily the most boring one. The one that I don't know about yet because I've not seen Echo. Just dropped everything on the floor. There she is. I would not have chosen to purchase this minifigure. It's not a character that I recognise or that I'm aware of because of the Disney Plus shifting of schedules. There are others that I would have preferred to have. I went into this with a blind expectation of nothing in particular, just what am I going to get? Is it going to be a surprise? I feel a little bit let down, but that was always going to be part of the gamble because this is functionally gambling. It is making a purchase and giving up of your money for something that you don't know necessarily whether or not you're going to enjoy. That's just what it is. Like that's the problem here. I do like that prosthetic limb piece though. That's really cool. That is pretty sweet. So that's nice. That's worth having. The rest of the minifigure I will have to wait and see what happens with Disney Plus to see whether or not I appreciate owning this one. I'm not going to buy any more of these boxes because I don't know if I'm going to just get Echo again or if I'm going to get one that I really want or if I'm just not going to get a minifigure that I'm interested in. And that's the problem with selling things this way. I think the challenge with these collectible minifigures is that from the LEGO Group's perspective, it has always been about selling a blind product and providing that surprise, which also conveniently does lead people to buy more and more and more of the thing because you don't know what you're getting and you're hoping that you're going to get something different next time and maybe you end up buying multiples of the same thing. From like a business perspective, that's always been their focus. From a consumer perspective, for both collectors who want the whole set, but also for younger fans, the presentation mentioned kids a lot and selling to children. Children don't necessarily always want just any minifigure. They might have one specifically that they're after. And that ability to kind of puzzle things out has been lost for younger fans as well as for older fans. And it will be interesting to see how the LEGO Group responds, reacts, or course corrects after the feedback that they've been receiving recently. But do not expect that course correction to happen quickly. One of the most interesting things to come out of the presentation was this idea of just how long it takes for the LEGO Group to make changes to some of these packaging issues. The challenge was that they've got several factories around the world and they needed all of them to be in sync and doing exactly the same thing with these boxes at the same time because it would not have been fair to consumers if some people in some regions of the world were receiving foil bags still and some people were getting cardboard boxes still. Apparently they could have had these boxes ready sooner if it hadn't been for a need to roll this out globally at exactly the same moment in time. That's added to the time it has taken for them to get to this point, but it also will add to the amount of time it's going to take them to make any adjustments to these boxes. Speaking about the time it takes to incorporate any kind of design change for these boxes, we were told that it normally takes between 3 and 4 waves at a minimum to make any kind of adjustment. So for the foreseeable future, for at least the next 3 waves, we're definitely going to get boxes that are identical to the current ones. That's a minimum, though. 3 to 4 waves minimum for making changes. And especially with something like this, where it's taken them a long time just to get to this point with the design of these cardboard boxes, if they are to change anything else, the vibe that the designers of this packaging were giving off in the meeting was that any kind of feedback adjustment might take longer still. So we can hope that perhaps at some point in 2024, the design of the boxes might change slightly to accommodate some of the features that fans feel are lacking at the moment. But it also wouldn't be a surprise if it takes even longer still. They've been working very hard on these boxes for a long period of time, and any changes that they make are probably going to be incremental and are going to be a slow process. Obviously, this is bad news for anybody who just really does not like the cardboard boxes, and for anyone who is struggling to collect these collectible minifigures in the current environment with so many packages being destroyed on store shelves. This is bad news for the LEGO Group as well. It's going to be bad news for the LEGO Group's partners, such as Marvel/Disney in this case. It's not great for anyone. Even the people who are tearing open the boxes, that's not plan A, so nobody is winning from this current situation. Now, as mentioned, it was genuinely heartbreaking. It did pluck on the heartstrings to see these packaging designers have to stand there and justify the decisions that they had to make because of the mandate that they'd been given in the context of having their work, their hard work, literally and figuratively torn to shreds. It's not a great situation for them, and they definitely do not deserve the level of negative feedback that has been directed specifically to the packaging team where this is an issue that comes from higher up in the company. All that said, at the end of the day, the LEGO Group is a business and they are trying to turn a profit at any means necessary. And if they did not think that moving to sustainable packaging was beneficial to them from a bottom line perspective, they probably would not have made that change. We know that because of recent decisions around the retirement of their plans for making LEGO bricks out of recycled material. This whole sustainability and environmental aspect to the LEGO Group is difficult, and there are going to be other little hiccups and bumps along the way. That much is clear. This is not going to be an easy fix on any level for anyone involved with the company or with any of the consumers who now have to receive the product, not in a way that we would like it to be received. So ultimately, the takeaway is things aren't going to change immediately. If you were hoping for a return to foil bags, that's almost certainly not going to happen. If you were hoping for the cardboard boxes to be altered, slightly tweaked so that the contents could be easily identifiable, that's definitely not going to happen within this year. Or within perhaps the next 12 months. Like, it's not going to be forthcoming. It's not going to be an immediate easy fix. Yay! Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Apologies for not coming with better news. If you are making a Lego.com purchase in the foreseeable future, make sure that you use either our QR code, which is on the screen now, or the link that's in the description down below, which takes you straight to the Lego website via our affiliate link and helps to support the work that Brick Fanatics does. Make sure that you leave a comment letting us know your thoughts on the current packaging situation. Make sure that you also hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell, do all of the YouTube stuff, and also make sure that you go to brickfanatics.com for all of your LEGO news. Sign up to our newsletter so that you never miss anything LEGO related ever again. And this is very important, make sure that you have a lovely day, because you are a lovely person and you deserve it.